Today I'm starting a mini-series of reviews on the whiskies from the Edradour Distillery, which is known as Scotland's Little Gem. So stay tuned for the first dram, which is the 10-year-old Distillery Edition. Welcome to the Whisky Straight Down. I'm Big Al, and if you like all things whisky, you've come to the right place to share a dram with me and to join me on my spiritual odyssey. So please consider hitting that subscribe button, and while you're at it, the bell notification so we can stay in touch. Now today I am embarking on a series of reviews looking at the whiskies of the Edradour Distillery up in the Highlands of Scotland in Mediocre. Now Edradour was established in 1825 and right up until 2013 I think it is, was Scotland's smallest distillery. Now that mantle's still in the Highland region with the Strathearn distillery, but no matter whatever way you look at it, Edradour is a small operation, particularly when you take into account the big multinationals, the big companies that are operating on such an industrial scale these days. So I thought it was only but right to have a bit of a focus on this fascinating little distillery and go through some of the whiskies that perhaps are a wee bit off the radar and not a lot of people really know much about. So Edradour is basically a farmyard distillery enterprise. They've just about enough equipment to produce whisky on a commercial scale, and in my opinion they do it right and they do it with pride. And ever since I had my first pour of Edradour, I've been hooked on the distillery and learning more about it, but I'm not going to go into the history of it now. I just want to get right into the whisky. Well, I'll put the link down below, and I really do implore you, take a look at it, read about their history, about the way they do things. You won't be disappointed. I thought it was only right to start off with the distillery's base level expression, which is this 10-year-old Distillery Edition. Now it's bottled at 40%. Which, as you know, means it will be chill filtered. However, it is all natural colour and it has been aged in Oloroso sherry and bourbon casks. If you do happen to have a pour of this, go grab it now, pour yourself a wee dram and we can go through it together. So let's get right on into it. Sláinte. On the nose there's that classic sherry arrival. Dried fruits, very rich in nature. Raisins, sultanas, and a lot of the times I feel with the Oloroso sherry in particular, it's just like those fruits are really soaked in the sherry, but on the nose here it's a wee bit more dry in nature, but at the same time it's very rich. It's like the difference between a dry heat and a wee bit of humidity, if that makes sense. Now there's some oak coming into play now, and with it a lighter side of nuttiness with some almond, but that Oloroso sherry influence is just damn near perfect. It really is. It's a stunning nose. Now I'm even getting a touch of red wine here as well, but it's not a full-bodied red wine. It's more medium to light, and it provides a nice counterbalance to the richer, darker, deeper aromas of the Oloroso sherry. Oh, and I should point out too that I am, as you can see, I'm having this in my little Edradour Glencairn, which is quite a lovely little thing indeed. But anyway, let's keep going. What really impresses me most of all with this nose is that it gives an impression that this is not a 40% ABV whisky. In fact, you'd have to look again to see, did I see that right? it noses much better than that. It noses if it's a higher proof because the aromas in there, they're rich, they're full of flavour, and they are full bodied. And that bodes well for the palate because it makes you really want to get into it and see if that element transfers onto the tasting. So let's get right on with that and give it a wee sip. Sláinte. Straight off, right on the arrival in the palate. Christmas spice, that nice rich Oloroso sherry influence again. It's actually taken me back to my youth, and I can still picture it. My mum used to bake a load of Christmas cakes for people all over the town. The kitchen was always full of them at that time of the year. Just not the kitchen, but damn near the whole house. And all those aromas just filled the house. You could smell it. It was so rich that you could almost taste it. And that's just taken me right back there now to that happy place many years ago. A really nice start and a nice memory as well. So let's go again. Now those nice sultanas, raisins, that influence, they're a bit more juicy now than what you were led to believe in the nose. The nose was very dry, but it's a wee bit more juicy now. There's some almond coming into play and a wee bit of marzipan as well. Now thankfully that marzipan influence has benefited greatly from a close relationship with the Oloroso sherry influence. Not overly big fan of marzipan, never was, and it has translated through to my adult life. However, that Oloroso sherry influence has taken the edge off it, thankfully, when it comes to this pour. Now as it opens up and develops in the palate, there's a nice sort of honey nature coming into play here now, and it joins that sort of almond nuttiness and gives a really nice flavour and a nice balance to the more rich flavours coming from the Oloroso influence. It really, really is just a lovely, lovely whiskey. It's just so good. Now initially I wasn't really detecting much of an influence from the bourbon casks, but as it clings to the palate, as it gets towards the back end of the palate, that nice oakiness comes into play, and it's an oakiness which is a tad drying in nature, not bitter that you get a lot of on some of the bourbon influence casks. You know, sometimes you can get like bitter coffee, a bit more dark char in the back of the palate, but it's not common here. It's a bit drying, but it is rich, and it does maintain the flavour without giving you that side of like, oh, it is maybe a tad too bitter. Not in this case at all. Really, really nice, and it does help that mouthfeel, you know, to turn a wee bit from the oily side to a wee bit creamy and then drying, but it does cling to the palate. The flavours do linger, and it really is just a beautiful, beautiful little whiskey. You know, this is priced at around 36 quid. You know, it's not something you're going to see a whole big pile of because it is such a small distillery. You might get it in some of the more specialist shops. It could appear in some places you wouldn't think, but this expression is one that you will be able to obtain a bit more easy than some of the other ones, because it's the production of it's a bit more widespread. But you can get it straight from the distillery, but you have to be a UK resident, so please bear that in mind. Overall, this is just a fantastic little whiskey. You know, granted, not all entry-level distillery expressions are 10-year-old. Most of them, granted, are 40%, but this is just something special. It noses much better than a 40%, or it drinks even better than that as well. Granted, if you put it up against a side-by-side of a stronger whiskey, it will come across as a bit weaker, but cast that aside for now. This just is a stunning little pour. I really can't think of any other 40% whiskey that I've ever had that has impressed me this much, and that's taken into consideration as well the Redbreast 12, which is widely lauded throughout the whiskey world as being right up there with the big boys. To me, this is better, and that's saying a lot because I do love my Irish whiskey. And when you think about it, if your base level expression is this good, think of the greater things to come. You're really doing something right, and I just can't wait to get through the rest of the range, and that will be the 12-year-old Caledonian, the Straight From The Cask 10-year-old, and the Sherry Finish Cask Strength as well. So there's some nice big hitters coming into play. Now, in terms of a score, I'm going to have to give this 89. It really is that good. I was toying with 90, but perhaps just doesn't attain that level, but not a kick in the arse off it. There is a 10-year-old unchill filtered version at 46%, and I'm going to have to get my hands on a bottle of that just to compare. However, what really impresses me most about this is what it delivers for the price and the proof. It's just so good. I can't say enough good about it. It shows you that care, attention and love has gone into this bottle, that it's whiskey made right, and because of that you can connect with it. Yes, Edradour might be a pretty small distillery in the overall scheme of things when it comes to whiskey production, Scotch whiskey in general, but by God, it's got one hell of an impact, and it's really one that, while a wee bit off the radar, people like me should be shouting about more, because it really is that good. It's a small whiskey, but it has big character, it has big attitude, it has big bold flavours, and it's one that you can connect with because of that, because of the way it's been made and because of the way it makes you feel. This is one hell of a good whiskey, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Please take a look down below, click on the distillery link, read all about them and how they do things. It really is a fascinating little place and a damn good read. So before I go, just one more thing. There's a Facebook group called Edradourian Nights, and it's a private group. I'll put the link in down below as well. Really great bunch of people. Now, I'm part of that group, and it was largely that group that made me want to try whiskey from Edradour, and I'm glad I joined because they've really pointed me in the right direction. If you join that group, you'll be part of a fantastically passionate group of whiskey lovers who will welcome you in and inspire you not only to develop your whiskey passion and enthusiasm more, but they will take you in and you will want to explore more of what Edradour does, and you'll not be disappointed. So check out that link down below, look them up on Facebook and tell them Big Al sent you. Nah, you don't really have to do that, but definitely check them out. Great bunch of people, and you will benefit from being in that group. Mark my words. So that's all for now. Next review, hopefully, will not be too long till it's up, and that will be the 12-year-old Caledonian. Cracking pour indeed, really, really good. And until then, folks, enjoy what's left of the weekend. Have a great week, and until the next review, stay safe, look after yourselves, and drink your whiskey the way you like it. Slàinte.